Hi guys, it's Andy. So today's video is going to be a review, demo, and swatches video of the new Lorac Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales cheek palette. This does retail for $30 on the Ulta website, and personally I think that's such a good deal. Essentially you're getting 3 blushes and 3 highlights, and that's kind of how they market it, but in my eyes you're getting 4 highlights and 2 blushes, and I'll explain about that later. So just first, this is the outer box packaging it comes in. It just has Lorac here at the bottom cheek palette, has a giant, Pirates of the Caribbean skull at the front, and then it has the Disney logo in the front. And it says, inspired by Disney's newest installment of the swashbuckling adventure story, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, the Lorac Los Angeles limited edition cheek palette will use the stars as your guide as you set out on a beauty adventure. The fearsome palette includes 6 brand new shades from our Color Source Buildable Blush and Light Source Illuminating Highlighters. And then how to use: apply Color Source Buildable Blush onto the apples of the cheeks for a natural flush of color. Build for a more dramatic effect, and apply Light Source Highlighter anywhere you want to lighten, brighten, and add a radiant glow. You are getting 0.54 ounces of product, or 15.42 grams. And most of these powders in this palette do contain some form of mica or talc, which is known to be an irritant to some people's skin. So if you are allergic to that, or if you have skin problems concerning that, I would go ahead and stay away from this palette. But anyways, this is what the outer packaging looks like. Super duper pretty. It looks like a little spell book. Has constellations on the front, little mountains on the bottom, really nice and decorative. Has a gorgeous rock here right in the center, and it says Verum Omnia Simul Astra, which is Latin for something stars. I did look it up when I first got it. And then you open it up, you do get a really nice quality mirror in here, which I really do appreciate. The inside packaging is a galaxy packaging, whereas the outside is just kind of a glossy cardboard matte packaging. But it's not matte in the sense where if you touch it, it'll leave your fingerprints on it, which I really like. You are getting, again, like I said, 6 powders. So this first row right here is marketed as all highlighters. You get a really nice stark white highlight, you get a peachier highlight, and you get a champagne goldy highlight. And then the second row right here is all of their buildable blushes. So you get a nude blush, you get a pinkier blush, and then kind of like a blush topper or a shimmery blush, which is basically a really super duper darker pinky highlight, which is also gorgeous. So I will go ahead and show you guys swatches of this palette now. So this first one I'm showing you is in the shade Fortune. It is the more stark white shade in the palette. It is the light shade in the palette. And then the next one is Destined, which again is just a peachier highlight. Next one is Star Reader. And I did go ahead and swatch that last blush with the highlighters just because that's personally how I would use it, and it is in the shade Bold Spirit. Now for the 2 blushes in this palette, the nude one is Lost Soul, and the pinky one is Caribbean. Overall, the highlighters are beautiful, and we can go ahead and get into the face swatches. So I am going to use this Real Techniques setting brush. It's what I use for all of my highlights, and we're going to go into the shade Fortune first. So this is what the shade Fortune looks like on the cheeks. As I said, the lightest in the palette, but it is so gorgeous. The next shade we're going to swatch is in the shade Destined. The next one we're going to go in is Star Reader. This is my personal favorite of all the highlights. And lastly, we do have the blush highlighter, whatever you want to call it, in Bold Spirit. So like I said, the highlighters are so beautiful. I totally recommend them. They are so gorgeous. Definitely 5 thumbs up from me. 5 thumbs up? We're going to go into the blush shades, and we're going to do the Nudie Blush Lost Soul first. And now we're going to go in with Caribbean. I'm aware I say it really weird. As you guys can probably see, the shade Lost Soul is the nude blush in the palette. It's too light for most skin tones. You guys probably saw in the face swatches that it really did not show up on my cheeks at all. If you do have a deeper complexion where the nude blush wouldn't show up, I would go ahead and recommend maybe mixing the 2 blushes together, because like adding a nudier blush to kind of a pinky tone blush can make it a really gorgeous everyday look. So that's personally how I use the nude blush in this palette, which I don't mind, but I just think like it's good that they incorporated a nude, because personally I love nude blushes. This one's just a little bit too nude. My last complaint with this palette is that the shades Destined and Bold Spirit, they do look pretty similar on the cheeks. Swatches, they do swatch a little bit differently. Bold Spirit is definitely a darker, more pinky highlight, whereas Destined is more of a peachy highlight. And I totally get what they were going for. I know they kind of wanted a shimmery blush in there for people who maybe liked a little bit of like sparkle in the cheeks, wanted a blush and a highlighter in one. I totally get that. But what I think would have been really smart for this palette is either just to make this maybe like a cool toned purplier blush, I think would be fun, or maybe even make it like a blue highlight. I know they had like this breakfast brunch collection where they had a really gorgeous blue highlight, and I thought it would be really cool maybe if they put it in this palette, since you know it's kind of galaxy themed and you get those like galaxy constellation vibes from it. But otherwise, this palette is just overall so beautiful. I have no problems with the formula at all, besides that they're kind of powdery. You do just kind of have to tap off your brush and work with it. But again, all Lorac products are like that. So yeah, that is my review of the Pirates of the Caribbean Lorac palette. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you did pick up that palette and how you like it. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! That's because I have been playing with this palette for the top of it in gold lettering. It says Chart A. Can't read that. So those are all of these swatches and face swatch. So those are all the swatches for this palette, and so those are all of these swatches for this palette. And now let's check